Hi, I'm Roxy, and welcome to We Watch Stupid. We are talking about season 6, episode 6 of Before the 90 Days, Dangerous Liaisons. Anna is in Nashville, Tennessee, worshiping Dolly Parton this week. So we have a very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Noemi. I am the point two listener. So now you guys only have two listeners. So I'm excited to be here. I watch a lot of stupid TV. So if that makes me an expert, woo woo, but likely not.
I love the point two listener. That's great. Okay, Noemi, where do you want to start? You're the guest, so you can pick who we start with.
I'm inclined to start with Jasmine and Gino, but I know you guys always leave them to the end. So I want to do the
We
same.
do. Okay.
Let's start off with Riley and Violet. The,
Okay,
the,
yeah, there wasn't
the,
a ton on them. All right, so we open with them in like they're going to a tailor because she wants him to wear something traditional because he dresses like a dad.
And now I like how he has like the knee brace. Like, oh, after you tell her, he's like, okay, now I'm good to wear it. I'm just like, great, Jesus, I'm over him.
Was he not wearing it in Oh, he wasn't. Okay.
No, that's why in the previous episode he was like, I was just so afraid to tell you because you would see me less of a man. I'm like, geez, not your behavior, but whatever.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Okay, so she's talking shit about him with the tailor, which is pretty funny. She basically calls him fat. The tailor calls him old.
Both of them call him ugly, which
Yeah.
is like ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
Well, what do you think, Violet in her ITM is like, "Oh, it's a Vietnamese thing. We're just joking."
Yeah, I mean, definitely, they were definitely just joking, but it's funny how he really got serious. Like he took it too hard, and I'm like, dude, for somebody that's like, yeah, this is our relationship, you're very sensitive. I don't get it. I don't get him.
That's his MO. He's just
Yeah,
a very sensitive person. Like he's just going to take anything that she says ever like so personally.
yeah, for sure. You
I kind
gross.
of wish maybe he had heard them call him ugly and fat and old. I guess she told him kind of
She
to his
told
face
him.
that he was
She
fat.
told him. Yeah, she told him, and he was like, "Really?" Like no reassurance. Like, no, babe, I was just playing. No, he's like, "No, yes, you're ugly. That's
This
it."
man, I don't I guess I don't know if like his I guess it's not like his spirit needs to be broken, but just like his ego needs to be toughened up or something. Like he's such a baby about everything.
I feel like he could dish it, but not take it. And
Oh,
honestly, that is my
yeah.
biggest pet peeve in people, and that's why I just don't like him.
Yeah, just very, very sensitive idiot man. I like that Violet's like, "Why you be mad? Why you jealous? Why?" Like that's literally what she says to him.
I I actually caught that too, and I love how she was like, "Well, it's not even that you're mad, you're jealous. Why?" Like
Yeah.
instead of like allowing him to answer the first question, I love that she was like, "No, why are you jealous to begin with? We're not even anything. We're
Yeah.
dating."
Oh, that was another thing that I caught her saying to the tailor is she said, "We're getting to know each other."
Yeah.
Like the tailor asked straight out, like, is this your husband? And she's like, "No, we're getting to know each other." And I just think that's like such a more appropriate like pace for the relationship. Like we'll get there with Statler, but just the pace of these international relationships, it doesn't have to be such an emergency, you know?
Okay, but for Riley, it is. I don't think he is aware that that's the pace she's taking. He is like, this is my future wife. I don't know. There's a disconnect there. They need to talk.
That is true. He doesn't Well, she's giving him clues. He just, like, is so caught up, I think, in his own narrative,
Fair
you
point.
know? Like, she's giving him clues by being like, "No, we're taking this slowly. I'm not canceling. I'm not getting off of work. I'm not canceling everything. I'm not dropping everything for you," you know? Like, I feel like
Oh.
that's her way
Yeah,
of
yeah,
doing that. She
yeah.
also tries to set a boundary when he throws a fit about this man. Yeah, so we're not really talking about why she says, "Why you be mad? Why jealousy?" But so she gets a text of some, like, shirtless man, and she, like, kinda tries to set a boundary with him, like, "No, I'm not showing you my phone. You don't deserve to see this. We're not married, so that this is my phone. You don't get to see it." And he, like, yeah, this is her trying to set a boundary, but he's just kind of, like, slow on the uptake and just, like, he's entitled. He feels entitled to everything.
It felt like a child throwing a tantrum, like from beginning to end. Him being like, "Yeah, I deserve it," and then walking away. Didn't even walk far because next clip when they're showing them, he's just like lingering around looking for her, and it's like, "Oh, okay, you're right." Ugh, I was like, "Child, like I get it. This why is a picture of a shirtless person on someone's phone? I want to know too, but it is not the place or time, especially if you know you're going to get mad like that and you're going to meet a family. No, no, no. Why are you doing that to yourself?" It was just a child and then her coming in like a mom. That's why I think I mentioned I was like, "Yeah, she's gaining a son. She is gaining a son."
Oh my
It's
god.
it's interesting to see. What's the age difference? He's 48 and how old is she?
They're age appropriate. I remember seeing that. I think she's,
Okay.
like, 42 or 43.
Okay, okay, good. Ugh,
Yeah. I was, like, so happy to see, like, an American man dating an Asian woman that was, like,
age
age
appropriate.
appropriate, but, like, mentally, he's 17, so
Mentally, he's a child. Yes. Man child.
yeah. I don't know. I don't care at this point if she's cheating. I probably won't think that differently of her because and she isn't cheating. Like, I think her explanation of, like, oh, she's trying to hook up, like, a friend of a friend or whatever, that makes sense. Bad timing on his part, sending it while she's, like, out with her new boyfriend.
Exactly. How awful. I Are we going to talk about their like meeting of the family?
Yeah, I guess just one more thing on their, like, little fight. Like, do you buy that she's just trying to set up a friend of a friend, or do you think that she's lying to Riley?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to answer. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. What do you think?
So you think she's cheating on him and she's
I think
getting, like,
not
a
cheating. I do think that she's just playing the field. Like, she mentioned it. We're getting to know each other. We're not married. So I don't know if I would call that cheating, but I just don't think even the way she like did more or less try to hide the photo or whatever or the text was like, suspicious. I don't know. That's my take.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of don't care either way because, like, if she's playing the field, good. If she's trying to hook up a friend, good. Like, I don't care what happens to Riley. Like, I hope he gets his heart broken. He sucks.
Oh my god, no. That is not my hopes for you, Riley.
Okay.
But I also don't really like you.
Okay, so yeah, so then they have a fight and then they go to dinner with her family, meet her daughters, which is kind of a big deal. I feel like she's kind of going out on a limb. Like, they have 2 weeks together. Like, he doesn't have to meet her daughters on the second day.
But she made a good point. Like, it's not even she's not even going through with it because of Riley. She's going through with it because of the mom. Like she's like, "Oh, I don't want to cancel because then it's going to be a poor impression upon him to the family or whatever." But he does that himself by not bringing a gift. Like, hello. Who does that? Like, that's common sense.
Yeah,
Like,
that's common sense no matter what culture you're in,
thank you.
honestly.
But he
Like,
was just so proud that he brought 2 gifts to the daughters, and then just I just felt so bad for the brother. He's like
Like, they didn't really it doesn't seem like they talked a lot about the itinerary and how this trip was
yeah.
going to go, so maybe I wanna give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he didn't know that mom and brother were going to be there, but
Mm.
I don't like, he learned that day that mom and brother were going to be there, and he knew he only had gifts for the daughters. So, their shops, they were, like, walking around, stop and get something, get flowers for mom. Like, there's not really an excuse there.
Yeah, I wonder why Violet didn't say, "Hey, no, we have to get her something."
Maybe it was a test.
Oh my god.
He's testing her.
He is doing the same.
I just really don't like this man, I guess. That's really coloring my, like, entire perception of their relationship.
What did you think of the conversation?
I liked that the daughter who spoke English stepped in to kind of course correct because the mom was like, "Hey, you're making my daughter sad all the time. What the fuck?" And then I feel like Violet was doing a pretty good job interpreting, like, honestly, but then Riley just talking shit about Violet in front of her mom, calling her a liar in front of her mom. So inappropriate.
But he was going defensive. Like, who okay, another pet peeve or cultural difference, whatever it is, if you're going into someone's home, you need to eat their food. It is offensive not to.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't eating, you're
He was like,
right.
"No, I gave some lame excuse." And one of his excuses was, "I know I'm gonna get the hard questions." Like, you are already going into it very defensive. Why? Like, you wanna make a good impression. I don't know. This guy is not thinking straight. He is just out here being very defensive about this relationship, but and yet he wants it to work out. Make it make sense.
And, like, regardless of what the reason is for Violet crying, like, you made this woman's daughter cry, like, you should be able to answer for that without being like yeah, you're right. He gets defensive immediately.
Yes, exactly. Like, so much that the mom notices, you know? It's not like, "Oh my god, we finally meet you. She's always smiling when you" nothing. It's like,
Mhm.
"You've made her cry." And he's like, "Well, because she's a liar."
Okay, does this conversation allow me to hate him as much as I do?
Yes.
Okay, great. We're on the same page then.
He's a baby.
I think he's just if they keep going, which you hypothesize that they will
I do.
before Noemi and I got to watch this together and we're like screaming about it as we were watching. I think he's just going to pick apart everything that she says literally forever. And like I hope she's ready for that because that's going to be her life with this man if that's the case.
No more comments.
And like what kind of an example is that to set for your daughters? Maybe that's a shitty thing to say, but I mean like her daughters obviously see that he's not great.
Oh, I know. I love your comment about, like, her another teenager giving advice. Like
Yeah, we were talking about how in the previous episode both Gino and Jasmine were getting marital advice from teenagers and here we have another example of adults getting marriage advice from teenagers. Oh boy. So disappointing.
Oh, can we talk
Anything
about the dress though really quickly?
Oh, you're right. We do need to talk about the dress.
So what was that thing? What do you think it served a purpose? I feel like it served a purpose. Like, I feel like you could untach it, but no, right?
Yeah, so we're talking about Violet was wearing like a really cute red dress for most of this episode. I think all of this episode. And it like looked like it fit super nicely, was like a very flattering color, super cute, except it had like a weird flap over like her right boob, and we were just wondering the entire episode what the heck it was because it like made it look ill-fitting and like it just looked so random. I'm guessing it was like a fashion thing.
That could be a good design for like breastfeeding though. Like if you really think about it. If you ever want, I just had that thought. I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe they could make that work.
But she's not breastfeeding and it's
Oh, I know. But now I'm
only
gonna
one
take that to
side.
side. I'm gonna take that to side. And once I'm breastfeeding, I'm gonna be like,
Oh my god. Yeah, so just super weird. I just it bothered me pretty much the entire time we were watching them because I'm like, she looks so cute except for this weird boob flap. Like what is going on?
it was a cute dress though.
Okay, anything else on them?
Nope.
Who do you want to talk about next? What about I don't have that many notes for Christian and Cleo. Do you want to do them next?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Christian is on the plane and he gets cut off by the waitress because he keeps trying to order beers in the middle of the night when people are trying to sleep.
Wait, so do you think it was because it was the middle of the night or because he was just so intoxicated?
I think both.
Uh, Fair
I
point.
think he probably just like, they come around and offer, on international flights, they come around and like offer you booze with your meal and like maybe after. But if you know the hacks, you can just keep pressing that button and they'll just keep bringing up. So my suspicion is that he just kept bringing or pushing the button and he's 4 or 5 drinks deep on a freaking international flight when people are trying to go to sleep. And we know he's annoying. So
Yeah.
he's probably trying to like chat up the passengers around him and wouldn't shut up when people are trying to sleep.
I had the same suspicion. Honestly, I was like, "Oh my," because also I was like, "Why are they showing us like 3, 4 clips of him like being in the airplane in and of itself? Like, I don't care, just
Because
land."
he was drunk filming himself. Like he
Oh.
had nothing else to do. So he's probably just like filming himself and talking nonstop to the camera while people are trying to fucking sleep. Like he was filming himself on like a dark plane. They turn the lights off so you can go to sleep and get on the time schedule of like your destination.
Okay, this is such a random thing, but I once was told to shut up in an airplane because me and my my friend, I rarely fly with somebody else that I know, but anytime I do, I am like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and we're like maybe 45 minutes like to landing, and then the gentleman in front of us couldn't hold it anymore. He turned around and it was like, "Could you guys just shut like lower it?" And I was like, "Dude, we're almost there."
You're like, you shut up. We only have 45 minutes left.
So anyway, sorry, but yeah.
Where were you going? Was it international or was it American?
It was it was not even international.
Okay.
It was I don't even remember. This was a while ago. I've changed.
Okay. So what you're trying to say is that you're talkative when you don't have like 4 or 5 drinks in you. So we should
Exactly.
keep you sober on flights.
Exactly. No, no, no,
Okay.
no. Keep me alone. Like if I go with someone, I am
Oh.
going to be like talking. If I fly alone, I am going to sleep.
Okay. Got it. I feel like that's just coming back to like Christian not shutting up and filming himself this entire flight. I feel like we haven't seen this many selfie videos from
Yeah.
one member on a flight. And he's going from Minneapolis to London. So that's like a 7, 8 hour flight.
Well, huh. Well, actually, what we should have done was compare it to the new couple because she also had a few single clips of her just on the actual
On the
flight.
plane.
Yeah.
Oh,
But anyways, they don't have enough apparently if they're like giving us this fillers. Like, okay.
yeah. What do you think about Cleo calling Christian her cat's daddy?
and, like, trying to push it. It's like, "No, no, no, like, don't." That's my take. What about you? You have cats.
I do like say that I do call, well, they're not really my cats. They're they're my stepchildren,
Okay.
but I do find myself being like, "Oh, kitty, like, what's your papa doing?"
But was that the first
Like,
like, the first meeting? Like, "There's your daddy." No.
oh no. No, and I don't think he's ever called me like the cat's mama or anything. Like, yeah, it's pretty stupid. So this was just like pretty awkward and yikes. I really hated how anxious Christian has made Cleo. Like, s- they ex- she says, like, when she's leaving, she's like, "Oh, I'm serving fish. I'm like looking really good." And if you didn't know, serving fish, they explain it in the show, but that came out of kind of like drag culture, like black queer drag culture. If you're serving fish, that means you're passing. And the whole issue that I have with Christian and his relationship to Cleo is that he likes her because she's a cis passing trans woman, and like he's just like, the fact that she even knows that he's anxious about that is fucked up.
I It saddened me when she gave him even, like, this compliment, and he was like, "Oh, thank you," and, like, did not no reciprocation whatsoever.
Oh,
I
when
was
she
like,
was like, "He's out of my league,"
"Yes,
which
eh,
he's fucking not.
not, not."
Like, when I like, watching him come out of those doors in that stupid jacket with his, like, he's got, like, eczema, like, ruddy face, like, not even shaved, like, dumb beanie, like, he's just so unimpressive in so many ways, and coming out to meet this, like, gorgeous, she's a literal model, like, she's dressed up, she looks nice, like, we didn't see him stop and freshen up in the airport at all.
No, he did.
Oh, he did?
He did. He
Oh,
washed his
okay.
face
He washed his face.
in
Okay,
the
good
bathroom.
for him,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Maybe I just willfully blocked that out. Yeah, how is he out of her league? And he's, like, the most basic
He is the most
man.
basic. He's honestly the most basic Caucasian guy I've seen, like, nothing impressive, and I was like, "Okay, okay." No, no, no. It was so awkward though, like,
So awkward.
I think if I'm not mistaken, he was like, "It was just the right thing to give her a kiss," or something like that, like, so
Yeah, duh.
yeah, like, but so you're just doing it for why again? If it was not
Mm,
naturally like a natural, like you
like, if he
wanted to
didn't
do that?
feel like he wanted to, he felt
Yeah, like, were
compelled
you just
to.
doing it for
The cameras?
yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, I'm glad that she said before she left, she's like, "I'm not going to kiss him first, like, he needs to come to me," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, that should be literally, like, everything in every future interaction you have with this man. He should be, like, so lucky to hang out with you."
But don't you think that that's gonna create, like, that mixed feelings that she mentioned later on? The fact that, okay, she was like, "I'm not gonna kiss him," but then he kisses her. So I fear for her. I fear that he is going to be giving the bare minimum, and she's going to be like, "You see, there's some hope." I hope not, but
Noemi, you date men, right?
I do.
Isn't that, like, all of them?
And I'm also stupid, but I don't want Cleo to be stupid. Okay? Like, jeez. It's awful.
It's rough out here in these
It
streets.
really is. It's just like, no. It's easier to say no, like, to other people than oneself, so I get it, but this is Cleo, if you're listening, no. Don't do
Well, it was
it.
filmed a year ago, so even if she is listening, I don't think there's a lot she can do about it.
Oh my god, no, he's the worst. I mean, he was very distant since that,
Yeah,
like,
it just looks so awkward. Like he was giving her like no energy to feed off of.
the awkwardness in him being like, "It's so nice to feel you in person," and, like, the way he touched her, I was like, "Ugh,
Yeah,
don't
so
put your
awkward.
hands."
He says he feels inflamed to see her inflamed.
Why
So
didn't we get that censored? Like, honestly, we got wet censored, but not inflamed. That gives you more of a it's disgusting.
I know it like gave me distinct like ideas about him having like a venereal disease or something or like an STI of like what is inflamed? Like what is are
What
you
do you
okay?
mean? What areas? Oh my
Okay. So then they get in a cab and go home. He's making jokes about he's making like colonial jokes, which I guess is kind of funny, but like maybe ask questions about her. Like don't just make dumbass dad jokes.
I have a theory that if the Uber driver was a woman, he would have been chatting her up. Like, he would have been like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah," instead of, like, interacting with Cleo, which is what he should be doing. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think
And we kind of see in the next time on, I think you're onto something there. I thought it was really funny that when he like does a Minnesotan accent, she was like, "Oh, that sounds Canadian, like another part of the Commonwealth, you know?" But had no idea that that's what people from Minnesota sounded like.
oh my god, I'm gonna sound like I don't pay attention to these people. Is he from Minnesota?
Yeah, he's from outside Minneapolis.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Okay, never mind. I know
I mean,
geography.
he's just like a pale white guy. Like, who cares where he's from? He can
Yeah.
be from literally anywhere. He says he thinks her nose is beautiful or something like that. Like
That's
he's
what he complimented. Oh, okay, okay. The subtitles read notes, and I was so confused. But
oh.
yes, that makes more sense. Like, also, yeah, that's the compliment after I told you that you were out of my league. You give me my nose is beautiful. Thank you. The fuck? Like, she should have been like, I am a model, you know? Or like something else, or like, I don't know.
Uh,
Everyone's nervous, so I guess.
yeah, everyone is nervous. That's true. I feel like I'm talking a lot about their kind of like physical differences and how much hotter she is than him, but I just want to be clear that I think she's cooler because she's like moved to a different country. She grew up in Italy, moved to London. She's a student, like is living a trans life, which is like very is hard to do, is interesting. Like she's into like tarot and woo-woo stuff. Like Christian likes to drink. Like that's his only hobby. Like I just want to make it clear that she is out of his league for more reasons than just her physical appearance.
Ditto. Like,
Okay.
no, yes, I'm with you.
Because I feel like I keep talking about her physical appearance because it's like just the most obvious and like most striking, but there's a lot of reasons why she is out of his league and not the other way around.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
She's just more interesting, like, she actually knows who she is, and
right.
I
That
don't
okay.
think
Yeah.
he does. Like, the fact that you are, quote, unquote, "in love" with someone, and yet your parents one comment is going to throw you off and now tell the person that you AK I mean, listen, he started off being like, "I can't wait, like,
Mhm.
to be with her, sex, whatever, we'll work it out," to we'll see if we'll be holding hands.
Right.
Like, no,
It's so
you have no clue who you are. And if you do, you have no integrity. I don't know.
that part, the integrity. I feel like and you can't have integrity unless you know what your values are and where you stand. I honestly feel like being the life of the party is
It's
kind of
gonna
like
get you
people.
killed. I'm sorry, it's gonna get you killed. Everybody I watch a lot of Crime Junkie, and every life of the party gets killed. So the fact that
Wait,
he
explain that.
introduces
Please say
yes,
more.
everyone okay, if you are a crime junkie fan or any crime, every reporter is like, "She was the life of the party." Her like, everyone's the life of the party once they're dead, okay? So no one is the life of the party when they're alive. I'm sorry. No one. No one is the life of the party. I don't know. When they introduced him or he introduced himself as the life of the party, I was like, who says that? Someone that's not self-aware. No one
Yeah.
is I don't know.
I feel like it's people-pleasing behavior. It's like clearly, I mean, we only see him at like a dumb like backyard kegger. Like, okay, it's pretty easy to be life of the party when there's 5 people there and they all look really boring. Like I feel like he's life of the party because and maybe I'm repeating myself from previous episodes, but
But also he's the only one single probably from his friends. So obviously you're the only one that
oh,
is able to do anything, you know.
interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, okay, so he's gonna end up dead, Gino's gonna end up dead, it's gonna turn into a 90-day, like, murder mystery
Oh my god,
show.
that would be so fun actually. Who did it?
I thought the conversation about, like he's like, "I'm not your cat's daddy, maybe I'm, like, Uncle Christian." I thought that was kind of funny because she didn't really seem to get it, and I feel like that's just that's an interesting little cultural tidbit. Like, clearly, like, British people don't use uncle that way, the way we use it to mean just, like, some dude, you know? Some dude
Exactly.
that's, like, around.
For certain specific things.
Yeah. I had some aunts and uncles, great aunts and uncles. They're from the Philippines, but they live outside of Vancouver or they various places in Canada. I had them visit yesterday and they were saying these words that they have for like it basically means like uncle and auntie in the sense that like it's just an elder.
Okay.
And my partner was like, I don't know if I could keep up with you guys in conversation because you keep using these like fancy words. And I was like, no, it's like the same as uncle and auntie. It just means you don't want to explain the whole family tree, you know?
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what do you think about his interaction with the cats, though?
he seemed to do okay for a person that like maybe isn't cat literate. You know what a friend told me? So my partner, he's a cat person. And when I was starting to date him, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, he's a cat person? That is like a green flag because you have to understand boundaries to hang out with cats." Whereas like dogs are
Oh.
like very like don't give a shit. Like dogs are very unconditional love. So, and I think that's pretty true.
That's a good
Like if
point.
yeah, if you want to hang out with cats, you have to understand boundaries and like really respect their space. Like you're not going to be able to like, bear hug a cat and get away with it if the cat doesn't want that the same way you could with a dog cuz cats have like claws and they're very like elastic and gymnastic. So, I'm waiting to see how he does with the cats cuz I feel like it might be indicative of how he does with Cleo, but I feel like he's going to fail on both fronts.
That's my hope. I hope he does. It's not gonna be good for Cleo. I could already see her getting her feelings hurt. Like, I'm going to bed. Like 3 times, 4 times, however, it's like, "I'm going to bed." Ugh, no. No,
I
no, no.
just he's making it awkward when you could just talk about it. You could just talk about your anxiety about intimacy. You could just talk about how you want to have sex, you know? And maybe they'll get there, this is their first night, but I just feel like he doesn't really have the emotional skills or capacity to get there cuz that would involve him being like really really vulnerable about how anxious he is and being specific about what is making him anxious.
Do you think that he told her that his family, like his family's comments? I mean, we the viewers don't know what the family said, but obviously he discussed something with Cleo when since she knows that there's no touching public display of affection essentially
It sounds
anymore.
like she knew. I don't remember specifically what she said that
Okay.
kind of illuminated that, but I feel like she knows that his family made it made comments.
It was just like the saddest scene though for me. Like and maybe because I've also been there where you're expecting more and he's just like, okay, good night. And it's like the view, he's laying down and then she's just like, just so
There in her
sad.
cute ass nighty,
I
just
know, so sad.
like even just like spooning, like is
Thank
spooning
you.
so hard?
But yet, he did say he gave her a good night kiss. So it's like, no, stop. Yes, but yes, talk. Please talk. Please use your words. You're being very passive aggressive right now. I don't
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
a good. I don't know if it's the aggressive part, but it's definitely passive.
Mm.
But I maintain that he's never had a unique thought in his entire life, and I think that's the passive part. Like he hasn't had to like I don't think he's ever met a trans person before. He's doesn't sound like he's met an autistic person before. So he's just never met anybody that isn't also basic and like white like him basically. Oh, I guess he has like one black friend. We kind of meet her at brunch.
And that was the friend's partner, really.
Yeah.
To the degree that they're friends, so
He just really doesn't have a ton of skills, it seems, outside of his like of a mainstream bubble. Hmm.
the previews don't give me high hopes for this
Yeah.
relationship. It's really sad.
Honestly, it's fine. Like I'm hoping that Cleo being on TV and having more exposure, like all these people are going to see how hot she is and like maybe she'll find like another hot British person, like somebody like in London, because London is a huge freaking city. She'll find someone in London who understands the trans and autistic experience and will like love her so freaking hard.
Okay, thank you. I was really feeling sad for her, but you're right. Like, yeah, no, yeah, you're right. This is gonna be just like a drop of
Blip.
water. Yeah, it's nothing. Okay, he's
Yeah.
nothing.
No, I think she's gonna come out fine. I think Christian. I mean, he's already coming off terribly, and he's gonna have to answer for that for a long time. People people will still probably fuck him because he's been on TV,
Oh my god, no.
but that says more about the people that are chasing
Oh.
him than him.
But that's gonna be his like what like intro from now on. I was in that TV show. And he's not gonna even see anything wrong with it. It's like, do you really want anybody to see you on here the way you're acting?
Yeah. Well, he'll be able to say like, "Oh, I was on TV." And so he'll be able to like probably pick people like pick chicks up at the bar for like 9 months until everybody starts watching it and talking shit about it and the word gets like out like really seriously cuz I don't think he lives in that big of a town.
Ah,
So he'll probably get tail for like a couple of months and then he'll probably have to move.
yeah, no. He
Anything else about Christian and Cleo?
no.
Okay. Do you want to do David and Sheila?
Yes, they're like the
Okay.
easiest. I only because thus far they're the only couple that have not fought, right?
Yeah, nothing's happened. Like, I feel like they're trying to push j this jealousy narrative, but it's not gonna go anywhere. It's like, "Oh, your ex could sign? Yes.
Yeah, like I'm
Oh, okay. Now I'm just gonna learn to sign better." Like,
better
what?
than her.
It's nothing.
Oh yeah, well, so they we started off with the day after, and
The
we
sex.
learned that this network censored wet, which is ridiculous to me. And they
Yeah.
also censored the motion for masturbation,
Yeah.
but then they are not censoring other talk. Like, for example, a lot of Jasmine should be censored, but no. It's like, who is censoring?
I
Who's
don't know. Yeah,
responsible?
they also censored when David was motioning for like
Oh,
penetrative sex. Yeah.
they did. I
Um
forgot that.
so weird. I like that, they talk about how they had issues having penetrative sex because they hadn't had sex in a while and so they figured it out in other ways. And I just really love that. It's just like, you know, P and V sex isn't the end all be all for intimate relationships, and I like that it seemed like they both ended up satisfied and it was like a positive
Yes.
experience. And he was patient. He wasn't just like, "Ugh, you gotta have P and V sex with me," So
Well, after
that's
4
it's I'm
years.
not trying to like
No, no.
applaud that. Like that is like literally the bare minimum, not to like force your partner to do something like that. But I'm happy that it was a positive experience for both of them. They seem to make a lot of food euphemisms for the sex, like my banana, my eggplant, this and that, and I didn't like that a whole ton. It
Who
was
was that?
pretty
That was David
was
talking, right?
David, yeah,
Because
talking
Sheila
about
was
his
very
banana.
straightforward with, like, "He kissed me in my
Oh,
all
yeah.
over. He kissed my titties. He kissed
Yeah,
my"
my nipples.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, "Oh, okay, so we all know who's the mature one here."
Yeah, oh, that is a good read. That is so true. Like, she can just use, like, literal anatomical names.
He was like, "Banana." What was it? But and a donut, like, really a
Oh, yeah,
donut?
my banana and her
A
donut, that's what he
donut.
said. Jesus. Ugh. Uh, what did you think about the exchanging of the phones?
I I if okay, so this is my thoughts about that particular scene and also his reluctance to answer the question of did she sign? Was it easier? So you're okay fueling her jealousy by showing her your phone, but not okay by answering a simple question, a valid question? Like what's your reasoning? I don't get it. But also, have you ever done it? Exchange the phones with your partners?
No, have you?
Never. It's toxic. Yes, I have.
Oh,
I
you
have.
have?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
I guess I get it when you're long distance, but it's like they decided before this trip that they were going to exchange phones. So he could have, either of them could have deleted whatever on the phones.
And exactly. And it just goes back to why it's probably not even a good idea because even that picture of the friend, you could take anything and it could possibly be something more. She was like, who is this? What was the reasoning behind that? She's just a friend, right?
Oh, he asked her, like, some woman, if she had a boyfriend because he was trying to, like, hook his friend up with her.
So essentially what Violet was doing.
Yeah, very interesting. We see two of those examples in one episode. So I'm curious, when you've exchanged friends with a partner, was it like you did it one time and then that was it for the relationship? Or was it a thing where it's like, I demand to see your phone
Oh,
at any time?
you're
I'm
asking
asking
me?
you. Yeah.
It was not agreed upon. Uh,
Oh, oh,
so again, this is why it's okay, so I think when you're in a relationship in the beginning, exchanging each other's phone, using each other's phone to do whatever, it's not a big deal. You'll be like, "Oh, could I see your phone? I wanna play music." Or, let me see this phone because blah." It's nothing. So once you start but once things start, like, coming up that you're like, "Hmm, that's questionable," like, things are not adding up, that's when that invasion of privacy comes in, where you're no longer getting their consent to
Okay,
to go.
so Noemi, you're dancing around this. Did you unlock their phone or did they unlock yours?
Me, I was the I was the bad one.
Did you know their password or did you have to figure it out?
Oh, I knew it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it, but I was like, "That wasn't that bad because I knew it, right? Maybe." No, it was
So
horrible.
was your suspicion
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Were they
of
cheating or
course.
something?
Of course. Yeah.
Oh,
By then yeah,
shit.
no, by then, you know, so that's why it's like, why even go through it? You already know, you know? So
So then did you break up with them and tell them about that? Or like, I'm so
yes,
curious.
because I'm the worst liar. I or I cannot keep I can't keep anything, like, I was trying to, give them an opportunity and be like, "So, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "How do you know that?" So I was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Ugh, it doesn't matter. Answer the question." It's like, "How do you like, how do you know that?" And I was like, "Fine then, I went through your phone, jeez." So I gave my
Oh,
I'm
wow.
the worst. I'm not made to be a
I'm
spy or
not
anything.
I'm not judging here, that's okay. I know my partner's I know the password to his phone, but he literally, like, doesn't he's like the least suspicious person ever. Like, when he used to, like, own his own business, there were, like, 3 different places he could be at any point in time. And, like, now there's probably 2
Oh my god,
because he
great.
doesn't own his own business yeah, he's, like, the most predictable person ever.
So you could have access and not even wander to go in and look
No,
for things?
he's
No.
like when we first started dating, he was literally like, "Yeah, here, use my phone to do whatever. The password's really easy."
You're like, "Perfect, that's my type of man."
Yeah. I've never, like, yeah, felt a desire to look through his text messages or anything, and I'm pretty sure he knows my password too, just from, like, when you're, like, driving or something, you're like, "You need to look this up or send this person a text or whatever." But, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Oh my god, I love that you snooped.
That's awful. I don't know why do people do it to get hurt? That's really why we do it. But going back to David and Sheila,
Yeah,
I
David
don't
don't be sorry, I
I
asked.
I I because it was agreed upon, I think it was nice that they honored each other's, like,
Yeah,
needs, but I think it's setting a bad precedent. I think there's other ways to work on trust,
totally.
but
And it's just dumb because, like, they could've yeah,
you
again, they
could
could've just deleted
delete
whatever.
things.
It's
Thank
weird.
you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So they go Sheila wants to show him around Cebu and, like, show him her culture, so they go to a wet market, and I was talking about this when we were watching, like, my first time being at a wet market in the Philippines, I think I was, like, 16, and it was, like, probably the scariest thing I'd ever seen in my life, and yeah, David really shows that he's not very worldly because he's just like, it's not like a grocery store. It's not very clean. It's like, yeah, dude, understatement of the century. It's not a grocery store.
but also what, like, she gives him to, like, taste is something that he should be familiar with.
Oh yeah. So she gives him like chicharron or
Mhm.
pork cracklins, I think is what they call
Yeah.
them.
So it's
Yeah.
like, you should be eating octopus or some
Yeah.
other body part, but
Yeah.
really?
Like I understand why they're on the show because it's very interesting and very new that David is deaf and Sheila is hard of hearing. So that's like another level of like communication differences, but like they bring no drama. I'm like so confused why they're here sometimes. Like, is the shoe going to drop? Like, are we going to see something like
No, no,
wild?
no, no. I think in every season we need a couple that's stable. So I think that
Like to root
that
for?
yeah, they're the couple for this season, I think. There's I'm hoping like I just can't see any arguments. Like you said, maybe they are gonna try to push the jealousy, but like come on.
It didn't really go anywhere this
Yeah.
episode, so I don't see how they could push it anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, David keeps like, sometimes when, like, the, white American person goes to another country and they have, like, a really adverse reaction to something cultural or some kind of standard of living, and, like, we've seen David do that, but it's actually pretty measured. He's just like, "Oh, this was uncomfortable, but it's fine," or like, "Oh, I'm not used to this," but he, like, figures it out. Like, there's yeah,
He's
there's just not
reasonable.
yeah, there's just not a lot there. Okay, so we have Statler and Dempsey and Gino and Jasmine left. Who do you wanna talk about?
But we don't I mean, you can introduce a new couple. I mean, yeah, let's do them first.
Okay, so we meet Statler 33 from Irving, Texas, which Irving looks like it's just a bunch of office parks when they do the flyover, so kind of a bummer. And then we haven't met her yet, but Statler is dating Dempsey 28 from Darlington, England. So, what were your first impressions of Statler?
Ugh. I mean, first impression was like, "Okay, okay." And then it was constant sex, 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 sex. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, you're a sexual being. I get it." I don't know. I don't know. I mean, wait, could I back up a little bit?
Yeah.
Is that the norm? Like when they're introducing a new couple to first have like talking heads of the American until they actually meet the foreigner?
I
And
think
then
so.
they'll okay.
I think
Okay.
so usually, yeah, because we, like, don't we haven't formally met Dempsey, so I feel like, yeah, they don't usually they wouldn't show Dempsey's ITM.
Until okay.
Yeah.
What was your first impression of her?
I would they just keep zooming in on this microwave meal that she's eating over and over and over, and there's, like it was like the microwave meal and then her talking about bugs and her talking about her ADHD and only being able to focus for 15 minutes at a time, and then her fear of rejection because she was rejected from a young age, and then all the sex stuff. It was just like, okay, there's so much going on with this character. It was kind of a lot. They're trying to build empathy, I think, with like the ADHD storyline and the
Adoption.
adoption storyline,
Mhm.
but they seem to focus in more on the ADHD storyline and how she's kind of like a lady baby. I don't know what the
Baby.
feminine version of like a man baby is, but like did you get the sense that that's kind of how they were trying to portray her?
Yeah.
Kinda like a lady baby, and then she has this huge fear of rejection, and, like, what did you make of all this sex stuff? Like
I was really thrown off why initially she was like, "Yeah, this is the love of my life, blah, blah, blah," or to find out that not long ago you did this for someone else. I was like, "What?" Let's start off there. Like, and you really and you really think this is gonna work out? Okay. Like, but in terms of the sex talk, I don't know. I maybe this is saying more about me, but why are you talking about sex that much? Like, why are you making that your identity? You know, like, I don't know. There's something happened. I feel like we're gonna get a backstory as to why she's over sexualizing herself. It's very similar to what Jasmine is doing. Like, is that all that they have to offer?
I think that's it. I think like that's all she thinks that she has to offer because she's experienced such intense rejection. And so she like can't pin it on any kind of work that she needs to do on herself. She has to like think about the ways that she can be more sexual or whatever and figure out a way that she can attract people rather than thinking about how she can connect and kind of like maintain her relationship with people or something.
What do you think of her friend telling her more or less, you need to slow down. Don't be stupid.
Okay, well first of all, can we talk about how she says she's known this friend, I forget her name, for 3 years and she's seen most of her relationships.
Exactly. So the question is, when did she start being sexually active?
That is a great question. Yeah, so she's 33, which means she started being this like horn dog personality at 30. Like, yeah, she doesn't say exactly when she came out
Yep. Nope.
or like when she started living as like an out gay person and like slamming ass all over Irving, Texas.
Which also I'm like, is there like a big
Yeah,
community?
that's my other question. Like, where are you finding all these gay women in like I don't know anything about Irving, but like also you work remotely now. Like, couldn't you just like move to Austin or something and
Great
find more gay
question.
people and not have to like go to England
She
all
likes
the
the
time?
accent, that's why.
Oh, that's right. It's the
The
accent.
accent. It was the accent. Could you do an accent? A British accent?
It'll be offensive, but yeah.
Okay, well you could do it for me later.
Hi, I'm Dempsey, and I'm from. Oh, that just okay. It always goes to Australian. It's so Australian. Oh my god. Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like sex is this like. I think she. I think sex is like a risky behavior for her,
Mhm.
and it kind of fuels the adrenaline or the newness of a relationship or a connection or whatever. And she can't necessarily sustain that high. And so maybe that's why her relationships fail.
Did she say why her relationship with the other gal ended? No, right?
She made it sound like the other woman just kind of had a change of heart and dumped her.
And yet came back. Ugh, these stories. What wait, okay. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it with
it
Jasmine.
doesn't really add
Yeah,
up.
nothing is adding up, you guys. I mean, I like her thus far because no, I don't like her. I don't like her because she's literally repeating the same mistake she did in her previous relationship. It's like, how dumb could you be?
She makes me really anxious. Like, what is the sex? Like, what void is the sex
Mm.
filling for you? Like, what is the like, maybe she feels like if she just, like, fucks everyone and leaves first, she won't
Oh, you
be
think
rejected,
so?
but then she, like, is hot for this accent, so then she, like, goes in a little harder, but then I still don't really understand what she's bringing to the table. Just
Sex experience. That's
oh,
what
yeah, she does say she's more experienced than Dempsey.
experience.
Okay.
But also, it's like, you guys, sex is not everything. And so, if that's what you're offering, that's not enough.
I know, so, yeah, you have sex a couple times and then you have to like go out to dinner with the person. Then what do you talk about? Well, I guess if you just keep going to this like weird chocolate sex restaurant, maybe you could just keep talking about sex.
Oh, I love her. What was the comment she made when she was trying to
Oh,
drink
like
that?
I'm too gay to like get my whole mouth around this shot. Like my body rejects it. Oh my god.
Just wait, but you know what? You did make a good point. Like when she was talking, she never really said anything about the relationship in and of itself. You know, like we connect out of, I don't know, insects. Like
Or like what they want in the future.
exactly.
Like what does she want? Does she want to be married? Does she want kids? Does she has she been to she's clearly been to England before. Did she like really like living there for one reason or another? Like yeah, we don't really understand.
Whoa, no. Now, what I really don't understand is why doesn't she just move to England? She is willing to move without notifying her partner
Oh yeah.
that that's her plans. Why not just move?
Yeah, and like up her odds of finding
Yes.
someone with a British accent.
Yes. Like what? Like why are you putting so much pressure on this person?
Yeah,
I,
that's a good point.
I don't know. Yeah, no, she is not having conversations. I feel like, oh, do you remember? Oh, I remember the other season. She was also I think it was the first lesbian couple. Also, the one the gal that sells farts.
Oh, yes, Stephanie and Erica.
Yes, I feel like it's giving that vibe.
Like one person is in it just to be on TV.
Mhm.
You think Statler's just in it to be on TV?
Mhm.
But she's not like Stephanie was an influencer before she was like a
Into
YouTube
that.
star before she went to Australia and was on that show. Like I don't think Statler is
So you don't think okay. Well, then at least it's one-sided. The relationship thus far, given that I have not heard from the other side, is definitely one-sided.
yeah. I wonder if she's something I wrote down is like is she just like really isolated? Like Irving she has one friend who's only known her for 3 years. She doesn't have colleagues because she doesn't, like, go into an office anymore, and, like, I can't imagine there's, like, a very deep queer community in Irving, Texas, wherever the freak it is.
Mhm.
So, like, yeah, does she just feel like she has to make these relationships really high stakes because she just, I don't know, doesn't have a lot of other close relationships? Like, I really don't understand her at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, she is self-aware.
What do you think she's self-aware about?
I mean, she made the comment about this, how crazy this idea is of her just going to visit with the intention of possibly moving without even having a conversation about it. She's like, yeah, this is crazy. But for somebody that's so afraid of rejection, she's putting herself in a place to be rejected. Like, how does that work?
She doesn't see it that way. I think she sees it like or like in her mind, she's like, "Oh, obviously this person would be so excited to have me there." And it like I think even the idea of having the conversation gives with the possibility of being rejected is what is like untenable to her. So she's just going to go forward. She just like doesn't want to communicate it. She just like has it in her mind that she wants to do this.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's awful. Well, more power to you if you live your life like that because I'm afraid of rejection and I don't put myself in any situation. Please.
You just wanna know the stakes. Okay, so I looked up Irving. It's a suburb of Dallas.
Okay.
And so, like, Fort Worth and Dallas are kinda like twin cities. They're like an hour apart, but it's just, like, kinda one big suburb around them with a bunch of highways. But, yeah, so it's a suburb of Dallas, and then Austin is 3 hours away, which is, like, far, but not impossible. I mean, it's definitely closer than England. Oh, but it's the accent.
It's the
Yeah, she wants the
accent.
accent. That's right.
I don't know. I'm interested to see her girlfriend. I did like the friend. Wait, I do want to end up with this. Like out of all of the friends that I see in this shows, I really like how honest her friend was about this
But that
situation.
happens I feel like that happens with every idiot we see on these
You think
shows.
so?
Their friends and family are always like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then they're always like, "No, love is so important. No way. I gotta go." Like, that's like part of the 90-day bingo card.
That's like, you wanna be a friend? That's what you need to do. That is true.
Everybody's a freaking dum-dum. That's why they're on reality TV so we can judge them. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if people weren't stupid and
We're
not self-aware.
if all we had were David and Sheila's.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that was the first 4 seasons of 90 Day Fiancé was a lot of David and Sheila's. It was a lot of like, yeah, they're in a relationship, but they just happen to be in different countries, and it was boring.
Yeah, yeah, more or less.
We need dum-dums. We need
We need
poo-poo
drama.
bananas people. Okay. Anything else on these 2?
No.
Okay, so, yeah, Jasmine and Gino. I noticed
I know. I know, no, 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 no.
I noticed when they came on, you just started sighing. You just started sighing really.
We expect more from this couple, and they are just not giving it. They're not giving any growth at all. It's I no, 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 no.
Jasmine says she has to run an errand and then goes out to this park and has a video call with Dane, her ex-boyfriend, who actually looks a lot like that British guy Tom. Mhm. And tells him that Gino doesn't wanna have sex with her. Oh my
So, what
god.
did you think about how they were talking to each other? Like, in particular, the baby.
That was weird. They kept calling each other baby.
Yeah. And so I this is a big pet peeve of the show is they always introduce these relationships, these ex-partners, but don't really give me a insight from the ex as to why the relationship ended. I want to hear from him, listen, all that you see, she is crazy. I confirm. Like, or something, because like now we have him being like, yeah, yeah, you do deserve somebody better. Not Gino, not me either, but somebody better. Like what is going on? I don't get it. And I also did not approve.
I don't know that we've gotten an ITM from Dane. I don't think we ever will. He seems like he has a lot going on and doesn't actually need to be on this show that bad.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, and also, why did she think it was like okay to tell him that?
Why does Jasmine do anything? It's for attention.
That's true. True, true. And like her I hope she know. I mean, she must know what she's doing. But I love how she's like, yeah, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that I deserve better from my ex. Like what? Like
I think she needs like a ton of like male validation. And also, I think her girlfriends are probably sick and tired of this shit. Like her little sister, like last episode, was just like so over it. And like her, like these girlfriends, Jita and Yauda, like they kind of act supportive, but like how long do you think you could sit and like listen to the same shit from Jasmine?
me and my friends talk about the same drama over and over again. So
Okay. I guess maybe I've been in therapy too long, so sue me. Know what I mean?
we're not there where we could afford it. So we become each other's therapists, saying the same thing, not healing. Oh my goodness. No, I did not agree with her being like, "Oh, baby." And I also didn't agree with him being like,
So
"Okay, bye,
weird.
babe." Like,
So
that's
weird.
so inappropriate. Like, I expected better from him. I expected him to be like, "Boundaries."
But we don't know him. I mean, he suggests therapy, which is like a more mature like outlet than we've heard from literally anybody ever on this show. But like we don't actually know him.
How did it come up? What was the question? Or that he was like, "Yeah, maybe you guys should
She was she was just like screaming about how he doesn't fuck her and he they fight all the time and da 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 and he's like, "Oh, maybe you should try therapy. Maybe just try therapy."
Okay, in the next scene, we see Jasmine's therapy in the park.
She's like, "I'm gonna do everything except therapy. I'm gonna hump him in a public park and scream about our sexual dysfunction while people are trying to have their fucking lunch."
But she swore she was listening to his advice. She's like, "Yes, I'm gonna do everything." She's like, "This is it." Oh my goodness.
Okay,
That's
hold on. Let's just step. I want to talk about the park interaction, but if we just go back like half a step, they like ran to the park. She was like wearing a purse. She was like doing this weird jog, like wearing a purse. And like the whole massaging like sunscreen all over him and telling him how she could like see his penis was so weird.
that really gave me flashbacks to the scene of the potato because goodness. Like, they're really giving us insight in the, like, the mundane interactions they have of, like, how uncomfortable the relationship is for the viewer. Like, she's like, "Relax," pushes him over, like, jeez.
Yeah, like I feel like if he is indeed autistic, which is a condition where you can get like overwhelmed really easily, she is just like kind of like Statler, just like sex, 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 like all the time. Just like every interaction is sexualized. Every single like weird little errand, weird little like everything is so sexualized.
Yes.
And so he's just like probably on edge all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I mean, he was not relaxed in that bed at all. Like, his
No.
arms were like like, I feel bad for
Oh my
him.
god. Yeah, he just looks super defensive. Oh my god. Yeah, so they like go to this public park to like quote unquote work out, which just ends up being like her like humping him from behind while like he does squats. And then I could not get over like okay, they're in Panama, which is like basically a US colony if you don't know about US intervention in Central America. And a lot of people speak English. There is like a very, very high likelihood that these workers that are trying to have their lunch in this park speak English. And she is just like screaming at the top of her lungs about Gino's dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in this park. And like, not to mention, they have all these cameras around them. Like, they're drawing attention no matter what. And she's like screaming about his sexual dysfunction in this park. It's just like so disrespectful on so many levels. Like disrespectful to Gino, disrespectful to the people in this park.
I agree. There was like the two gals sitting on the right side of the screen, where one of them is like, "Hey, look over there," essentially, and the other was like,
She pointed.
I mean, with the head. It was with the
Oh,
head, like, go and then the other one looks, and I was like, "Oh god." I mean, granted, they had their faces blurred, so they have that going, but you're right. It's always about sex. Like, sex or money.
and then she asks how long she needs to not argue with him before they can have sex.
Okay,
Like
okay, okay. Let me take a step back. Okay. First, he's like, "I'm tired." After doing what? You did nothing. Yes, like, dude, okay, well,
That is a bummer.
and then she's like, "Oh, yeah, I did appreciate him letting her know his feelings. Like, hey, we do argue a lot, and that's why I can't do it." But her, what is she hearing? She
That
is.
is a great question because this isn't the first time he said it. I mean, that's why I think they need to go and try therapy.
Well, this is therapy, Roxy. Going to the park, speaking in front of everyone is
I don't
therapy.
know. In Oz, that's not really what we consider therapy, but okay, maybe this is what is therapeutic in Panama.
Why doesn't Gino say, "Why don't we go to therapy?"
He's too stupid. He's
You think
never thought
so?
about therapy in his life. Do you see how anxious and unhinged he is? This man has never thought about therapy in his life. Also, speaking as someone who has like half of my family is like Italian Americans from the East Coast, like no.
That's a
Ther-
hard no.
Therapy does not exist in that paradigm.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was his only solution, but he's not gonna propose it, so that sucks. That was a funny scene, though. I mean, just
It was pretty hilarious. Like, what did her humping him from behind do exactly for his squats?
it did more for her, I think. She's like, "This is how I want you to grab." I feel like that's where she was taking it. Like everything she does is so sexualized. Like, yeah, like did he answer that question though?
Did he answer what?
The question of like, how long do I need to not fight to have more sex?
No, he shut down.
I
He
know.
got he was so confused.
It was
That was like a big riddle for him. I mean, I wouldn't know. I didn't know how to I wouldn't know how to answer that either.
exactly theirs. I don't know how they've been together for so long. They don't communicate the same way.
I just I think about this all the time with Jasmine. So they met on a sugar baby site and like I don't know a ton about sugar baby life or whatever, but I feel like the ideal would be to be like a hot young person and find like an old man who like doesn't want to fuck you and gives you money. And she's like found it, like an old man that's going to leave you alone. And like she did it. She found it. Like as far as like cuz they met on a sugar baby site, like as far as sugar baby stuff goes, she won.
This is
Like
what
she
you
found
want.
an old man who's gonna pay for stuff and not have sex with her. Like
I agree, but
I
not
and now I can't tell if it's like an inception type situation where she is like, "Oh, he doesn't want to have sex with me, so if I keep pushing the sex stuff, so I'm just gonna keep pushing the sex stuff to like keep it going so that I keep getting money and not having sex with him."
I
Like
honestly, like, once you shared that, I was like, that is honestly a possible narrative. Like, it makes the most sense. Anything other than that, there's holes. That makes perfect sense to me. So I'm gonna go with it. I really am. Nothing else makes sense. Like, nothing else.
I yeah, I just and also like we talked about like last episode, I was like Violet showing Riley this like Vietnam Independence Palace to like show her Vietnamese dominance over American like war mongering. I'm like maybe I'm just thinking too hard about everything.
Okay, that one I was like, "Okay, that's a stretch," but this one about Gino and Jasmine, I'm like, "No, I really it makes sense." Otherwise, like, what is she doing? But I will say that will then the question becomes, is she cheating? Is she really surviving with 7 times sex in a span of how many years? Is she surviving with that?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, yeah, it is very curious, her and Dane calling each other baby,
Mhm.
because it was like, have you ever had an ex where you like broke up, but then you still kind of like hooked up a couple times afterward?
But you don't yeah, but you stop all that baby talk,
Yeah, that's a good point. It's
you
kind of more
know?
like down to business.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think she's actually cheating with Dane. Like, I actually think she's that nuts to be into Gino, but it is still a weird dynamic.
I guess what I'm not understanding is she definitely is a sexual being, yet she's only had sex with Gino 7 times. I don't know. I don't know. Something's not adding up to me. But then again, maybe that is why she's so crazy. You know,
Maybe.
like,
Yeah,
I want sex.
maybe she'd be more chill if she got laid more.
Yeah, yeah. All I'm saying is I've been with in her shoes, like, I've
Oh
been with a
no.
partner where I'm like, "Then why are you even here?" That's awful to say, but
Like just the sex drives were that incompatible.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly. I was like and then you just move on, Jasmine. You don't try to force it.
Honestly, like I think she might be a good contender for like a poly relationship where like she's completely devoted to Gino emotionally, but then she just has like a 20-year-old side piece that's gonna bang her like 4 times a day or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like she kind of has a traditional mindset,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that would work for
Would it do
either
you
of
think it
them.
will work with Gino? With that scenario?
No. No. They're both way too like basic and traditional. No.
No, I don't know what she wants, but it's Gino.
That's true. Like I do not know what either of them want.
Well, I think Gino just wants a trophy partner.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
that's pretty
honestly
obvious. Yeah.
think that it could be Jasmine or it could be someone else, but that's what I'm getting from it. And maybe and the only reason why I am, like, kind of hesitant to say Jasmine wants the green card is because I think will be okay living in Panama.
Oh, she says it. She's like, "Why would I sacrifice living in this beautiful place to go to like dumb Minnesota?"
So then why the are they together? I don't know if we could cuss, so I hope no one heard that.
Oh, yeah, you can cuss. It's
Oh,
okay.
okay. I'm also censoring myself.
Yeah, this one is a really hard one to decipher. Like, I think it'd be really fun to watch this with someone who like actually knows something about psychology because I certainly don't.
Nor do I.
It's a medical mystery here.
What did you think about the girls' night out with plus Gino?
I don't know. I don't think I even had any notes for it. I was just
I
like, I think her friends are scared of her. Like,
did they have they ever said how long they've been friends?
I think one of them said like 10 years.
Oh,
I
wow.
think Judah said
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
I forget who's who, but I think one of them said 10 years.
Oh, okay. Well, then there are, like, friends, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why Jasmine puts him in these situations where he's going to fail or he's just not comfortable with. Like, does she like it as well? Does she like being the one in control?
Oh,
Yeah.
1,000%. That's, I think, why she's so domineering
Mm.
because she's trying to get him to just kind of buckle. And he did, like, with the prenup, but like, she also says she likes chaos. And so I think she's just kind of a shit stirrer in some ways. but she also, I don't know. Yeah, actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then she's like weeping and sobbing when she's not in control, but she likes that chaos. Like, I really don't understand the dynamic.
Yeah, same. But you know what I didn't understand? I didn't understand why all of a sudden Gino knows that she was talking to her ex. Like how it was just such a like why was that not caught on camera? That seems like a whole explosive moment. And it was just discussed like, oh yeah, we had like the most civil conversation about this. But now I want to like snoop in with a friend. I don't know. I feel like production probably was like, hey, you might want to ask that friend about something. Because it just doesn't make sense for it to be like, oh yeah, she told me it was a friend.
Yeah, that's true. It is very sus.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
maybe they're saving that for later or something.
For the next episode.
That also proves that they could have like a difficult conversation and not blow up.
Exactly. So is it all for the cameras?
I mean,
Most of it?
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, Jasmine's in the US without a prenup probably, so
Or it will. That's the real question. Did he do it will?
did
Oh,
he turn up in a lake?
I wonder, isn't that public information? I'm gonna have to do some research.
If he
If you
issued a
have a
will?
will,
No, cuz it's like it's just private. You can like my I have a will and mine is just like notarized and I just like emailed copies to like the people who are involved, my sister and my dad.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we don't know if there is a will, but
Mhm.
she is
I
here.
liked your instinct though, public records requests.
I mean, you guys. Like, I mean, we were talking about how she should do some research as to what the K1 visa is going to entail. Like,
Yeah.
you know, these people are just clueless.
We could public records request their marriage certificate.
Oh my God. Should we?
I mean, yeah. It's not like I have a job or like a house to take care of or anything. Okay, thank you. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week with more before the 90 days. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.